Virginia Republican Congressman Scott Taylor on that. Of course, Congressman, you heard this was Canada's foreign minister saying we're still hammering these things out. We still hope to get something done. Tomorrow would be the day they'd have to do it, at least to get it done in time for Congress to look at the overall package. How optimistic are you that they will?
I think they will. I mean, I think you saw, well, first of all, I like the tactic with the popsicles. I'm going to try that here locally in the near future. But I think that they will. I mean, you know, Mexico's coming along, and I think they have to, quite frankly. And I'm optimistic about it. Cautiously, of course, but we'll see what comes out of it tomorrow.
You know, they had to hurry back. In fact, Ms. Freeland did from a European trip when the Mexicans scored that deal with the United States, and they didn't want to be left out. So talks that hadn't been going anywhere with the Canadians. In fact, they'd been frozen in place for, I believe, a couple of months. They're scrambling to get something done right now. If they do come to the table and get a deal, do you think it puts pressure on China to do the same?
Look, I think that all this stuff puts pressure on these trade deals and with China as well. You know, I understand that there's uncertainty and people are worried in some sectors, of course, about trade. But this is not a new issue, right? This is something that subsequent presidents have been talking about, a problem, and of course Americans as well. Like I come from an area that's sort of depressed, if you will, and a lot of working poor families, and have seen their jobs go overseas, and you know, so I think you have to give the president space to work on this, and we're in a position of economic strength right now, and what better time to do it? And you've had people talk about it for a long time, but he's actually doing it. And I understand he might fail in some respects, and people might be worried about him overplaying some things. But look, I'm cautiously optimistic about where we're going for the long term.
Congressman, Morgan Stanley, the big brokerage house, put out a report saying China might not necessarily be rushed to make a deal, leaving aside the stubbornness on the part of the Chinese to budge on some of this stuff, but also the idea that the economy, you know, sort of ruffled as it was by all of this trade back and forth, is holding up pretty well. Their markets have rebounded a little bit, and they're in no rush, and feel, nor should they be, to do a fast deal with the president. So let's say they delay and they don't come up with anything, and maybe it's for quite some time. Then what?
Well, let me say that, look, I think it's not the intent of this administration to you know, crush the Chinese economy. I don't think that's really good for anyone, quite frankly. But you obviously want to change some behavior with stealing of intellectual properties, currency manipulation, of course, mercantilist trade policies and cheating on trade, a massive imbalance there in trade. And also, look, one of the things as a military guy that concerns me, and there's a scholar, Graham Allison out of Harvard, that talks about a status quo power and a rising power, and more often than not throughout history they have ended up in conflict. And you see China with a lot of their reserves, they're putting it right into military spending. So quite frankly, if we can do it economically and sort of change some of that military trajectory in China, then good. That's good for us, because there's no question that their blueprint in their military spending is to spend in a way that goes against our weaknesses. There's no question about that. So I don't think we're trying to hurt the Chinese economy. I think we're just trying to get things back into balance, trying to change some behavior. And look, I'm not concerned necessarily that the Chinese might not come to the table tomorrow. I don't, you know, this is something that's been going on for a long time that we've acknowledged, both Democrats and Republicans. And I think eventually they will. And I'm not under the illusion that's going to happen next week. I think they will hold out as much as they can.
The only thing I like about the Morgan Stanley report, sir, is that despite what we argue back and forth on tariffs and how they threaten and hurt an economy, the upshot was, at least when it comes to our tariffs on the Chinese, that they won't hurt them, that the Chinese economy can more than deal with them, which, again, argues that point, to your point, that we won't see them settle on anything anytime soon, whether we agree or disagree with them and their approach. In other words, if it's not going to hurt them that much, the worse tariffs we throw at them, the worse moves we counter to deal with them, and they just shrug their shoulders and move on.
The same report that you're referencing, if you look that up online, there are a couple of other reports that talk about it in the opposite way.
No, you're quite right. They do stand out. There are plenty of others who say it's not good for anybody, but it is interesting. I thought it was kind of wild, but you don't obviously agree with that part.
Like I said, there are different studies out there, there are different reports that talk about that it does hurt the Chinese, and then there's this one that you referenced that says that it doesn't necessarily. I think it does, and I think that, again, moving forward, anything that gets their behavior, checks their behavior a little bit, that we know that they're cheating, that reduces their trajectory of military spending, I think is a good thing long term. And make no mistake about it, we're basically in an economic war with them, and it's been going on for a while. And again, it's been acknowledged by Democrats and Republicans, and the president is stepping up to do something about it. And again, he may do things that we don't necessarily agree with it, and he may fail in some respects. But I think for the long term, and when I talk to soybean farmers in my district, that while they're concerned, they do see it as a better for us in the long term.
Congressman, thank you for taking the time. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely, sir.